So it's been about a week since I put a new video out, and that is because I came down with the flu. And that got me to thinking about how a narcissist treats you when you get sick. So I know that most of you in this community have dealt with a narcissist or someone you suspect to be a narcissist. So I'm thinking you're going to relate to what I have to say about this. And in this video, I'm going to explore 5 ways a narcissist might treat you when you get sick. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel, we explore narcissistic abuse, its connection with spirituality, and we attempt to answer the question, where do we go from here? So if that all sounds good to you, be sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And if you're already subscribed, thank you and welcome back. So before we jump in, I want to talk a little bit about my personal experience. And I think this is very telling because when we're in relationships with people who are completely self-centered, as narcissists are, there are often warning signs, and those warning signs can come in the form of your own thoughts and feelings. So when I was in a relationship with someone like this, there was a time when we would talk about marriage. And whenever we talked about marriage, I didn't actually voice my real concerns. But my very real concerns were the whole part about in sickness and in health. Because deep down, I absolutely knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if I were to get sick, if I had something very seriously wrong that threatened my life or my quality of life, changed my quality of life and maybe my abilities, I knew this person would not stick around, not in the way that I needed him to. And this is a major red flag that there's something wrong in your relationship and possibly with the person who you're with. And this is a very important consideration when you marry someone. So I was thinking about things like, okay, well, I know this is going to happen. If I get sick, this person's probably not going to outright leave me because that would make him look bad. But he's not going to be there for me in the sense that I would need him to. So I am certain that he would be physically there, but not actually there for me. And he would probably be off having a separate life while I struggled to maintain my own life and my own well-being. I would think about things like, well, okay, so we're talking about marriage. What if this happens? Is this something I can handle? Maybe it wouldn't even happen. But is that a risk that I'm willing to take? And again, these are major red flags. Oftentimes when you're with someone who is abusive, the biggest red flags come from within yourself. And that was definitely the case for me. But when you're with a narcissist and you happen to get sick, this is kind of where those red flags come from, because you see how they treat you in your time of need, whatever need that is. You see how they treat you, and you can only imagine that it's going to get worse from there. So let's jump into 5 ways that a narcissist might treat you when you're sick. So first, now this is one that I hear often. The narcissist may act sicker than you. So let's just say you never get sick and you happen to come down with the flu. And when you have the flu, I know because I was just there's not much you can do. You're essentially just tied to your bed and you're resting and you're trying to hydrate, and then that's really all you can handle. And when you're in those times, it's nice if you have somebody who can help you. You may or may not actually need it, but it is nice to have. But when you're with a narcissist, you might be in a situation where you're actually very ill yourself and you're being asked to care for that person because that person is, whether they're sick or not, acting as though they are sicker than you. And this is something I hear a lot, that it happens consistently in relationships, that if somebody you're with is doing this, they may do it frequently, maybe every time you get sick. They're sicker than you. Another thing a narcissist may do when you get sick is they may try to shame you for it. They may try to imply that you're weak because you're sick. And they might do this with their actions, and they may even be so bold as to do it with their words. Oh, if you weren't so weak, you wouldn't be sick all the time, or you wouldn't be sick right now. Regardless of how often you get sick, when you're sick, you're sick. And there's not much you can do about it, but try to get better, really. So it's kind of a kick in the face to have somebody in front of you in that time when you're already down to say that it's your fault. It's your fault you're sick right now. Another thing a narcissist may do when you're sick is just completely ignore you. Your illness does not fit with their agenda. Make no mistake about it. It does not. They are not there to take care of you. When you're sick, they might just act like you're not even there. And it might be pretty bold and in your face. And sometimes you get the impression that they don't even know how selfish they're being. Let's look at an example. You're sick and you're in bed or you're on the couch and you're having trouble getting up and getting things for yourself because you're just that sick. Or maybe you're injured. Maybe you hurt yourself and you physically can't get up to get something for yourself. So the narcissist in your life just thinks nothing of it. Oh, hey, I'm hungry. I've got a craving for this burger from this other place. I'm going to go get one. I'll see you later. But wait, I have no food. I can't get up. What about me? How am I going to eat? The narcissist doesn't care or even think about it. So in cases like these, it just shines through so clearly who the number one priority is in their lives. There are always going to be times when it becomes very clear that you need to help someone you care about. You need to have that empathy and be there for them. But it does not become clear to a narcissist because they don't have that empathy. So you might encounter a situation where they're saying something like that is completely heartless, but you can see it on their face. They have no idea. They have no idea that they're being so heartless. They have no idea that they're not showing empathy for you. It completely misses them. This just proves that a narcissist, to their core, they only think about themselves. It doesn't always occur to them to even think about somebody else. And this becomes very, very evident when you're sick. So a fourth thing that a narcissist may do when you're sick is they may act like your sickness is an attack on them. You are bothering them. You are very clearly bothering them by being sick. And I've encountered this one more than once. They may act like you're pretending, like for whatever reason, why would you do that? But because you're putting them out, they think you're doing it on purpose somehow. Like you're purposely destroying their day by pretending to be sick. If I'm being honest, this is the one I've dealt with more than any of the others. And it puts you in a position where you feel like you're trying to prove yourself. You feel like you have to prove that you're actually sick, which is a crazy place to be. It's absolutely crazy. But again, it's a sign that you know that there's something wrong with what's going on here. There's something wrong with this relationship, and there's something wrong with this person and how they think of you. It always left me wondering, this is the person who's closest to me, and literally no one in my life would ever assume that I'm faking being sick for anything. But this person who's supposed to be the closest person to me thinks that of me. And at the time, I took that as a reflection of myself, but it wasn't a reflection of myself. It was a reflection of the person who I was with. So another thing that a narcissist may do when you're sick is just split. They might just, I can't be bothered with this. This has nothing to do with me. This is your problem. You deal with it. I'm out of here. And don't worry, most narcissists will be back, or actually maybe you should worry. If a narcissist leaves because you're sick, there's a very good chance that they'll come back around when they think you should be better. And so they don't have to deal with your problems and you're free to focus on them again. And so those are 5 ways that a narcissist may act when you're sick. And I want to point out that it's not just sickness. It could be anything that doesn't have to do with the narcissist. But it stands out so much for us when we're sick, because that's one time when if you don't need anybody ever, or if you feel like you don't need anybody ever, when you're sick, sometimes you might be in a situation where you actually do need somebody. And so that's why it stands out so much that they have no empathy for you and no compassion, because you're finally in a situation where you need it. You need to see it and you don't. But a narcissist will often act this way, whether you're sick or whether you're injured or whether you're grieving, whether you just lost a job, you have something going on personally that you need to attend to. And there's no way around it. You need to attend to that thing. And so the other person becomes lower, much, much lower on your priority level. And this is when you'll see these behaviors start coming out. You'll see really their true colors start coming out, because they can't handle not being the center of attention. They can't handle not having your supply. When you're just getting over a relationship with a narcissist, it takes a little while before you can look at things a little bit more objectively. But once you do, once you can see things more objectively, it becomes much easier to recognize true human emotion and to recognize when it's lacking. So when you just meet somebody and they're in a situation where they should be showing empathy for someone else, a third party, this has nothing to do with you, but it seems like either they should be helping somebody or at least feeling a certain way about things that are happening in front of them, and they don't. That's a major red flag. You don't even have to be able to verbalize it. You know it. You know it inside. You know when you see true emotion and when you should be seeing it, but you don't. And the bottom line here and always is to just listen to your gut. Now that we've been in these situations and we know what it looks like to not have empathy, and empathy, make no mistake about it, it's one of the things that really makes us human. Empathy is so closely related to the human experience that it's almost impossible for a human who has empathy to understand someone who does not have empathy. It is almost impossible to understand what that's like, because it's such a core characteristic of being a person. When it's not there, when it's lacking, those are the times when your gut is going to tell you something's off. Maybe you can't even put your finger on what that thing is, but always listen to your gut. So if you like this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And if you aren't already subscribed, consider doing so, and I will see you next time.